Welcome back. Compound interest video number 4. And this is going to be the test or evaluation for compound interest utilizing our compound interest workbook. And so what we're going to do is take a look at some problems that are on Quizlet, and then we'll use a modified version of our worksheets here for compound interest to calculate and confirm that Quizlet has the correct answer for some of these account balances for compounding interest. So the first thing to do is go ahead and go to worksheet number 5, which was the last one that you completed as a part of viewing video 3. And so it should look like this. And so what we're going to do is we're going to change this just a little bit, add a little bit more to it, and to make it just a little bit easier to help us confirm some of the Quizlet answers on the Quizlet test. So the first thing to do is to go ahead and we want to extend these down to 24 periods, I believe is the maximum number we will need. And there's 24 periods. And then go ahead and copy all of your other formulas down. Now we won't use all of these periods for every problem, but there will be some where we do need to do that. And our compounded interest column right there. So we're going to create a little bit of automation here. It'll allow us to utilize a few more of the powerful features of Excel. We can do a what-if analysis. So what we're going to do is we're just going to modify period 1 in this worksheet. It's going to work like this. The principal is the first variable we want to take a look at, and so instead of typing in the amount right there in D19, what we're going to do is reference that value right here where we spent some time during video 3 with the various variables that we needed for principal, rate, and time and the compounding periods. So what we can do is just go ahead and type the equal sign and put in the location of that 75,000. Now you notice nothing changed on your table. That's because it was the same value. However, if we were to come up here and key in, and let's say we want this to be 100,000, we can do that, and what will happen is that we will see the effects ripple throughout our worksheet. And there it is. There's that 100,000 and everything else, because we've connected every cell with a formula that references the appropriate values to calculate simple interest over and over and over again. So in this particular case, after 4 years and compounded twice a year, you would end up with right here $138,444 and change. So that's how this would work. So if you were to be asked a question, what was the account balance after, let's say, 8 years? Well, that would be 8 times 2, because you're compounding every twice a year, so that would be a 16 compounding period. So you come down here to 16, and there it is, $191,000. And then you could also ask a question, well, what would be the compounded interest amount, the total amount of interest that was earned over that period of time of 8 years? And that's summarized right there. Well, next up, we're going to have to adjust the rate and the time column so that we can continue these calculations. So first up, let's take a look at the rate here. We want this column here to always reference this location. But to do that, we're going to have to go back in time to earlier in the quarter where we learned something about absolute cell references. And this is where we put a dollar sign in front of our cell addresses. And so Well, let's just go ahead and do it here. What we want to do is equal sign and select this location, but we always want this location to be selected after we copy our interest rate all the way through our table. So the way we do that is put a $sign in front of the B and a $sign in front of the 12. And we could go ahead and type that in, but there's also the key that we could use, the function key, function F4. Type F4. Press F4 and our $signs are automatically inserted. And then I'll come up and we'll click that check mark. Now when we copy this 8.3, it will insert that location, and we can verify that by clicking right there, double click, and there it is. So every one of these is going to reference that location. And that means then that we can now adjust the principal. Let's say we want $250,000 at 5%. And there it is. Automatically put it in and calculated all the way through 24 periods based on a semi-annual interest rate. The next thing we can do, if we can adjust that third one, time, so that we can automate that. And so right now we're at semi-annual compounding period, so twice a year. So we're going to do the same thing, equal sign. Click on the time value, function 4, check mark, and then we can copy that all the way through. So now when we come up and we want it to be semi-annual, we would come up here and go ahead and type in 0.5 or 6 divided by 12. And there it is, all the way through. And so now we are ready to perform some calculations and confirm that that Quizlet that we're going to take a look at, Compound Interest 2017, quiz number 3, you're going to use this newly modified table to confirm that those answers in that Quizlet test are correct. And so that'll come up in the next video, and we'll show you how to do that. In the meantime, make sure you have this. Ask any questions, rewind anything you need to. Go ahead and play with it a little bit. Oh, I thought I had said 250,000, 25,000. Let's try that. There we go. I thought those numbers looked a little small. So go ahead and put some different numbers in there. There's, let's see, 50,000, 2.9%, and then I'm going to compound this monthly. And so in your formula, then you would put equals for time 1 divided by 12. And there it is. Put it in automatically. And so you could look through here and say, well, how much interest has been accumulated in the first year? 12 compounding periods. And there it is right there. $1,469. Let's try another one. What about $10,000? 7%. And so you can see the table is changing because we have referenced all of the cells utilizing formulas. And our time, well, let's just compound it once a year. I'll put a 1 in. And there it is. So use that, practice with a few times, and then make sure you save it. And then go to Quizlet and bring up Compound Interest 2017 Test 3. And then we'll take a look at how you can use this table to verify those numbers.